Today with us we have Dr. Reena Dev. She is a wonderful doctor. She has literally saved lives of hundreds and thousands of animals. She's an avian specialist, she's a reptile specialist, she treats exotic species. She's done a lot, and she's also the first surgeon to do a sea snake surgery. And she also is a prestigious recipient of Carl Zeiss Wildlife Conservation Award. I mean, there's so many things that you've done, and we're honored to be with you, Dr. Reena. You have been a veterinarian for a very long time now. You come with a lot of experience. You've done so much of work. So, can you tell us something that shaped your perspective as a veterinarian that you have today? What are those experiences? Can you share some of those?
I think for me, not only as a veterinarian, but in general, for anybody wanting to do anything in life, your number one thing has to be passion, and you have to be focused on what you want out of life. How do you see life going? So, as a veterinarian, I think probably when I was a toddler only, I was going around rescuing any bird that fell, any kitten that I saw, and obviously 20-30 years back doing animal welfare, picking up strays from the road wasn't really a very common thing. So but those things, I think there are instincts, something you're born with, a bit of genes, and compassion comes by seeing people around you also. So those values for me were there very early in life. So becoming a veterinarian was not only a choice, it just came very naturally, like, why not a job where I get to care for them? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great answer. I think compassion is what drives us all in this animal welfare sector, and it truly has worked out for you. When I look at your facility, right, it's so beautiful, and you care for birds, you care for animals a lot, and you also work with a lot of students. So, just trying to understand the education system in the veterinary science. You have you have been a student, you have also worked in the sector, and you're seeing students coming out today. So, what do you think are the core necessities of today's education system in the veterinary science?
So, years back when I joined vet school, and I was in a way a failure because I gave 3 entrance exam attempts and I never got into vet school, and I finally got into vet school. And I remember in our first year of anatomy, I had my batchmates sitting with me. We were learning anatomy about birds.
Right.
And bird medicine basically in vet school is all based on poultry. And my batchmate, I remember him saying कि हमारे इतने भी बुरे दिन आए, अभी मुर्गी के बारे में सीखना पड़ेगा. So from that, what I'm talking about in 2004 when I joined vet school to today, students are very driven. They are driven when they join veterinary. They know this is what I want to do. I want to make a career in this field. To the extent you'll have first year students who even know what field they want to specialize in.
Right.
I had a vet intern with me at the moment, and he's so focused. He's like, I want to be a Nat Geo explorer. So there's a huge difference in what veterinary was 20-30 years back, where you were called a Ghode ka doctor, Gade, or my batchmates felt that way. But students these days know what they want, they are working towards it. Your opportunities are so much more. At that time you had to really, luckily we still had internet, when we were growing up, and Google things, write to people. Like I did a lot of externships abroad. But now there's so many courses that happen in India. Even if your education provides you just basic knowledge, there are courses, there are continued learning experiences that are constantly happening in the country. So for students, it's a great opportunity, I would say. At this point, being a vet in India, being a vet student in India, getting guidance, knowing what you want to do, and making a career in what you like. It may be as simple as you are somebody and like I am interested in skin, I only want to do dermatology. So once you're focused with that from the beginning, that's what you can actually set that out as your career. But if 10 years back, 20 years back, you told somebody, I am only going to do dermatology, that was something that you cannot survive, that cannot be your bread and butter.
Right. Yeah, thank you for that. Considering today's students, what do you think they should I mean, what do you think the government should work towards in the education policies or in the curriculum that is there? What do you think the universities or the government should work towards?
So one, definitely infrastructure, because I remember when I went to vet college and I wasn't getting admission, and my dad went to the building and he's like, this looks like a, it looks very weird, it looks like a dilapidated building. Are you serious? You want to join this? This is what you're going to be in? But infrastructure, yes, because a lot of vet colleges still don't have basic infrastructure. We need good teaching facility. When you're saying teaching facility, obviously the professors not only having a degree is important and qualified to teach, but they also have to be exposed to that kind of knowledge, that kind of medicine, that kind of advancement in science.
Right.
So infrastructure, number one, and I think there should still be a lot of research, focus on research. These things definitely the government should look at doing, because you can't be teaching the same medicine, the same textbook, the same way of treating which was done. Now we have moved ahead in every sector in life, right? So the same goes for veterinary. Things have progressed a lot. If you go abroad, you'll see what the universities are doing. They've moved on to doing spinal surgeries, neurology, brain tumors and things like that with animals, with birds, with birds in fact. So we have to progress in terms of research and infrastructure for sure.
So I have, so looking at your journey, I feel the one thing unique about you is that you do a lot of work in the social sector as well, right?
Yes.
You also have a clinic of your own, and you do a lot of work with the NGOs, do rescues, and a lot more. So how's that experience been like?
So for me, I always tell people I was more of a animal welfare person, and the veterinary thing happened honestly it happened much later in life, because I was rescuing animals when I was in school. The first time I got permission to step out of my house after my 10th exam was I went to a dog shelter to help.
Right.
That is the first time I was actually allowed to travel on my own, go by bus, and this was in Malad, which was like half an hour away from my house. So I went on to helping NGOs like PETA, PFA, WSD, and obviously all the local animals around and local feeders and all of that. So for me, the veterinary part happened much later, and the idea of choosing it was to help animals more. I mean, what better way to help an animal than being a vet, right? Whether you like it or not, in whatever space in life you are, whether you're working in any sector. Say for example, even if I wasn't somebody who was working in the social sector, rescuing animals, even if I was working in a laboratory which tests on animals, by ethics and default, I would make sure that an animal had the best quality of life. So the point is, when you're a vet, you are in charge of how the animal is treated. Let's put it that way. So whether public, veterinary, wildlife, NGO, any sector. So I think that really shaped out well for me as a vet to help animals more.
Wow. Wow, I think the compassion that you talk about, I see it in your eyes whenever you are around animals, because I was with you with a few birds right now, and I could see that compassion, like you cared for those animals like you would care for your own child. So thank you for that. And now let's talk about something interesting, right? So we see a lot of illegal trade happening. We see a lot of animals being illegally traded. A lot of news channels report, animals found in the airport from a lot of countries. So that's been in the news for a while. So I know that you also work with NGOs that work closely with such cases, right? So how has that experience been? So what happens in the background when an illegally traded animal is found? Like what do the NGOs do? What does a veterinarian what is the role of a veterinarian in this?
So a role, I mean, when you talk about animals in the illegal trade, I think for me that's the most disturbing thing, because one, they are obviously taken from their natural environment. If you're talking about baby primates or anything that comes in as a small animal, mostly a lot of primates are smuggled into the country, or sometimes you have big cats that are smuggled. The idea is that they have been stolen from nature, stolen from their mom. A lot of them, the parents would have to be killed for the hunters or poachers to actually get to them. So that is number one. Because you're not only looking at a scared animal that comes in stuffed in a suitcase. Okay, that on most instances it is something like that. you're looking at an animal that's stole from
Absolutely.
what he should have been in.
Right.
Second, the cruelty involved. I mean, if you read all these articles, you will see how badly these animals are brought in, they are stuffed in cartons, the journey that they've made, and how scared they are. So
Right.
it's very, very disturbing as a vet also emotionally when you're working with such animals, because you're not only working with a injured animal, you're working with an animal who has been deprived of his basic needs.
Right.
So emotionally also takes a toll, and especially when they are primates, you'll have tiny babies who cling onto you and cry because they haven't been fed for like 24 to 48 hours, stuffed in a
Right.
suitcase.
Right.
So I have broken down a lot of times, which I mean, it's not that it is your job, that's why you should care. No, there are a lot of emotions involved in it. So as a vet, your focus has to be on doing best for them to return them back to the wild and caring for them as long as that care is needed. Advocacy is a big part of it. Awareness is a big part of it. Setting examples is a big part of it. Deporting these animals is extremely important, because
Right.
half of these people, when these animals come in, they're already ready with the fine.
Right.
They are ready with the fine, they'll pay the fine, they'll get scot-free. What happens to the animal? These animals sometimes are not able to go back to their country of origin because there are such strict rules for quarantine, what disease they may be carrying, what may be wrong with them. So it's a very complicated situation where as a vet you have to try your best to get the animal back to the wild, where
Right.
there are some consignments and a focus for days on is just to keep them alive, stabilize them and send them back. But that victory definitely feels really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So during this process, you work with a lot of stakeholders, right? There are NGOs involved.
Yes.
There are forest department. There's forest department involved. There is the other part of the government involved.
Yes.
Law, police
Yes.
is involved. So how is it like to work with all of these? What's the background work like?
So honestly, it is very difficult because a lot of agencies and a lot of people are not very clear on what the law is to start
Right.
with.
Right.
Two, when you have an animal that's coming from a place where, say, it should be in a tropical rainforest or be in some place, what the environment should be, what the husbandry should
Right.
be, even to handle these animals, some of them may be even venomous. So right from handling to caring to transport to the laws of sending them back, I wouldn't say confused, a lot of agencies, us even as vets, we are very, very unaware of
Right.
what the rules are. To be honest, there are no SOPs in a lot of instances.
Correct.
So one, developing SOPs is extremely important when you're talking about smuggled animals, illegal animals. There is no SOP. Forget anything that comes from outside the country. Tomorrow you have a consignment of rose-ringed parakeets which has been rescued.
Right.
How do you release it? You'll just open the cage and release it, right? But
Right.
that is not the way it should be. Some of these birds may be carrying diseases that may go back to
Correct.
the wild. Some of
Correct.
them may have been in captivity for 3 months where they won't be able to survive in the wild if you're just going to directly
Absolutely,
release
yes.
it. So developing SOPs is very, very important in these cases. Having clear guidelines and clear rules, because sometimes you might want to do something good but you may be against the law. So those things are important to keep
Right.
in mind when working with such
Right.
cases.
Now that we have spoken of all these SOPs and everything, so a lot of NGOs work in this space,
Yes.
right? And I know the laws are very stringent and it makes their life also difficult. And a lot of young students who are coming in this space might hesitate, might not want to get into this because of all the irregularities in the system. Right?
Yes.
So how do you think NGOs can make these things better? How can they make things better for the veterinarians, for the upcoming students? What opportunities can they create?
So one is, I mean, we're always looking at infrastructure, but I think doing scholarship
Right.
programs, especially when you're talking about students, because nowadays your Gen Z is very driven. So hopefully they are driven in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I think scholarships, teaching, learning opportunities. I know at my time I used to write to vets in the US and other places that this is happens in my country, so I want to learn this and I want to come work with you.
Right.
Fortunately, I could still afford to go there and do all of that. But there will be a lot of deserving candidates, a lot of passionate people out there who want to do it and will do it. It's not only as an opportunity. So
Right.
I think creating scholarships for deserving students is very, very important.
Right.
And focusing on research work also is important.
Right.
funding research projects and all related to wildlife and all, is very important. These two, I think, are factors that can really help.
Right. Great. So, as a philanthropic foundation,
Yeah.
right, we work with a lot of small scale NGOs who don't have the funding for probably like a scholarship, or
Yeah.
they work with small scale projects, maybe research, maybe not.
Yes.
They make small rescues, or they're a volunteer run organizations. So, how do you think, what opportunities do you think NGOs can create in such spaces for the students?
So I think one is interning opportunities is
Yes.
great, because a lot of times what people don't realize, and a lot of volunteers or people who are very driven also don't realize is, you might really, I really love animals, I want to do something for animals, but
Yeah.
not all of us are cut out to work with the animal directly. We all
Right.
can help in our own capacity. So you might be somebody who loves animals, but the sheer sight of blood may be something that freaks you
Right.
out. You may not be comfortable, but you may be
Right.
great at communication. So raising awareness is another factor you can do.
Right.
So I think internship opportunities with NGOs is a great way to go forward, and that's when you discover what segment you will do good at and what you are good at.
Mhm.
So that way with NGOs, I feel that would be a good opportunity.
Great. I think that was a wonderful message. I hope a lot of NGOs create such opportunities for these students. I really wish more and more students come into this social sector while they work with
Yeah.
all the animals. Right. Now let's shift our focus a little bit towards the philanthropic foundation. Right. We at Upadhyaya Foundation, we are a philanthropic foundation, and we work with a lot of NGOs. Right. We are mostly into on-ground work. We support a lot of things in the animal welfare sector, but for now we get to mostly support veterinarians with their salaries through NGOs. What other avenues do we as a family philanthropic foundation have for the veterinarians especially?
I think focusing on them properly, getting some advanced training, advanced education. If there is somebody who really wants to do something in the veterinary sector when it comes
Right.
to even at rural level, especially rural
Mhm.
level, rural animals, farm animals, honestly are ignored.
Right.
They are really, really ignored. You won't have a lot of vets who would want to work with them also. You
Mhm.
have the LSS, that's the livestock supervisors, they
Right.
generally work
Right.
with them.
Right.
Working on ground level is something that I feel will make a difference, because
Mhm.
with farm animals, the whole concept of welfare also changes.
Right.
It's a very different thing when you look at wildlife welfare, you look at cats and dogs
Mhm.
on the street, and when you look at farm animals. So I think working on ground level with veterinarians who probably can make a difference in the rural sector, especially for farm animals, is a very, very good thing. And the other thing is related to wildlife research, wildlife conservation, if those vets who want to do something with wildlife. I remember and whether this is an interview or no, I know some of the most brilliant vets who went to Wildlife Institute of India,
Right.
brilliant vets, because to
Right.
get selected there. In the end, there were no opportunities to use their education, to use their talent.
Right.
They ended up doing awareness programs. That was one reason why at that time I'm like, if I go here and then I don't have any funding, I don't have any place to channelize my energy, my talent, it's going to go to waste. So
Correct.
those people who really are passionate about wildlife and all, these kind of people should be given opportunities, and I think investing in them, investing in their education, in what projects they might have in mind is a good way.
Right. Thank you for that. While we're near the end of this conversation, I'd really like to know any one special story that you'd like to share that has probably changed your life, or any cute story about your rescue operation, or any cute interaction you've had with animals. Can you share something with us?
I mean,
Yeah.
everything is fun, everything is cute, but unfortunately that's what people want to hear and people want to see
Right.
on Instagram, on social media, and everywhere. Everybody wants a happy story.
Right.
So
Right.
behind 10 happy stories, there'll be 100 sad stories that I may have to tell you. I have mentioned about this story before. I had this monkey, because I already told you I'm into primates. I really
Right.
like them. So I had this monkey. She was suffering from tetanus, and she had a 1-day-old baby. And when you have tetanus, it's very difficult for them to recover. She had an electric shock, she had tetanus, the baby was clinging to her the entire time. We were constantly, trying to make sure that she's alive because she had a baby. And I know when she finally died and that baby was still clinging to her, how difficult it was for me as a vet. I know that I broke down. The first thing I did is I just stepped out of my clinic, went and to one soft toy shop to bring another monkey soft toy for this baby, because that is the challenging part. Those soft stories, cute stories, you'll see it all over the Instagram. I mean,
Yes.
you know there are lots of them, but there are a lot of challenging part working with animals when you're treating them, trying to do something for them. So a lot of these stories break your moral, break your heart, and you're like, you don't want to do this, you're not made for it. A lot of times those stories are, I think, stories that are more interesting.
I mean, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing such a painful story. But yeah, I mean, I think that's also what's has kept you going on
Yes.
and on. And I see you have a wonderful shelter. So if I may ask, what are you trying to build here? What are you trying to build with Rewild?
I'm trying to build what I envisioned as a young girl.
Wow.
Pretty much that. Yeah,
Wow.
just
Wow.
caring for animals and doing whatever I can do in this lifetime.
Great, great. I mean, I see the beautiful structures you've built, and I really wish you luck to build more and more and more, because I see that you're compassionate and you're skilled, and you have all the love you want to give for animals, and I think you'll do great. I really wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Do you have one final message to our viewers, to the philanthropic foundations, to the NGOs, to everybody who's watching this message?
I think it's important for everybody to come together, and it's not only one effort. So even as simple as to save an animal or do anything good for an animal, there are so many, the universe brings all of you together. I feel that happens, and I feel that with you all. You all just happened, and there's so much more happening in my life now. Not my life, with Rewild, there's so much more happening. So it's everybody coming together, good energies coming together. It's never one person. When you talk about Rewild, you talk about me. But there is 10 staff, 10 vets. There are different people who are bringing this all together, including you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Reena. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful conversation. I really wish to have many more such conversations with you, and I really wish to keep coming back to Rewild.
Definitely, anytime.
Yes, and thank you for all the hospitality, and thank you for watching.